and welcome to hopefully day two of the 20 metre and 18 metre nationals at Lasham. This morning's briefing is going to be a little bit longer. We've got quite a few different things to get through and a number of tasks to brief you on. But we will start off with the parish notices from the manager. Gavin Spink is now back on site if anyone does have any particular issues they want to raise with him. A number of things. No dogs in the restaurant, please. They're allowed in the bar and on the patio and other areas of the clubhouse, but not in the restaurant, please. Tomorrow morning, 0800 local, we're expecting a King Air departure from the main runway from 2XL. So please don't block the runway first thing in the morning or leave your gliders out in the way of the runway. We've had a couple of reminders from competitors. Can you please leave plenty of space around the water bowsers, especially to the east side of them? Currently, when we've had a look, it looks like Glider Sierra 9's parking spot is quite close on the west side, and trailers for the for 100 and Victor 2 are quite close. Please just move them further south. On the east side, trailers for Alpha 1, Hotel Juliet, Fox Alpha 2, a mystery shark trailer with check plates, and what we think might be Lee Wells's trailer are also a little bit too far, too close to the Bowser, so please move them a bit further south if you can. Please stick to the 20 mph limit on the airfield. Thank you very much. Everyone's been very good with that one. And then finally, for crews, there is a Festival on Hampshire Open Studios art exhibition, and booklets for that, which tell you where various art exhibitions are around Hampshire, are available from Control or from Gavin Spink. On the catering side, again, Flight Deck are providing excellent catering all week. Tonight is burger night for those that are going to be hungry when they get back. On the social side, Mark Davenport's band, he asked me to change Amazing, so I'm going to change them to Tremendous today, but they'll be playing on Tuesday night. And Mark is also planning to run an open mic night. It's likely to either be Thursday, Friday or Saturday, depending on the weather and what time people get back. For those that might be interested in performing, so either singing, playing or doing something else, please contact Mark on the number there or on his email. Thank you very much, or catch him on the grid. Another really good one today, Airability, a really good charity for disabled flying, are bringing in the brand new Grob 109B Able with the large Rotax engine. That's being built by Southern Sailplanes. They are going to be visiting Lasham this afternoon and are going to be available to test fly today with Guy Westgate for those that want to go and try that aircraft. There's about 50 of them going to be for sale, quite a high-powered Grob Tourer, and the project's backed by both the government and supports a lot of disabled flying work, with the profits going back into charitable causes. So a really, really good cause and a really interesting looking aircraft if you haven't seen it. Director's notes. So gridding, same as yesterday. For the 18 meters, a reminder, please start in the middle and then fill out from the edge. For the 20 meter two-seaters, just either side of the gridding cone. Please take care when moving between the grid and the clubhouse, because club flying should start fairly shortly. Some rules reminders based on what we saw yesterday. So just a quick reminder, I'm sure all of you are familiar with this, but gliders are excluded from Class D airspace during the competition, even where they have controller's permission. However, if you did need to land an extremist inside a penalty zone, you can do so without penalty if it's done promptly with entering the zone and where you have permission with the local controlling authority. Also a reminder, cloud flying is prohibited prior to starting, and please remember to finish above the minimum finish ring height. We had a few fairly large finish ring penalties with people well below the height, so please keep an eye on that. Pilot's information, 20 meters multi-seat. Remember to put your P2's name in robo control. A quick reminder, Pilot Safety Committee, Ian MacArthur, Liz Sparrow, Tim Robson, and because we're having one today, I remind you who the competition stewards are. Matt Cook, Matt Page and Peter Masson are our stewards for this week. They're currently in the process of looking at some of the rules from yesterday to try and get some clarity. On to the results. In the 18-meter class, it was a competition day. And in third place, Phil Jones at 96 kph with 549 points. In second place, Richard Hood, 96.18 kph and 550 points. And sneaking into the lead, Russell Cheetham with 97.13 kph and 558 points. So well done to all three of you. Please come to control sometime this afternoon or after briefing and collect your wine. In the 20-meter class, we've decided not to list the results yet. There is a steward's inquiry ongoing into the exact wording of the rules, and a number of different competitors traces are being looked at as part of that. We will try and update you as soon as we can, but obviously it's with the stewards at the moment. Colin, over to you with the weather.
Lovely, thanks, Ed. Just take a couple of seconds to get my slides up. So, the weather of the day, folks. Well, I'm looking out the window thinking this is not quite what we were expecting perhaps 3 hours ago when we first started looking at it. So overnight, the high pressures come in fairly quickly. This is midnight, and then moving on to predicted today, settled over the UK, and we're in this sort of northeasterly flow here, bringing the air off the North Sea. We always know that has a sort of effect over the UK, to not quite work out in the same way as the modelling would go. Isobars reasonably close together over the Channel and northern France, so it's going to be fairly breezy over Kent and the Channel, a lot lighter in the UK, over the centre of the country. Just a quick look at the TAFs because they update all the time. And this has changed certainly about an hour ago. The tempo broken low cloud initially started from 7 till 9, and now they've shifted it forward a bit from 9 till 11. So obviously this stuff that's over us is taking a little bit of time to slowly move away and break up. It might be a little bit later than we actually first thought. Flying winds, light on the ground, northeasterly, somewhere between 6 and 8 knots, probably. At flying heights, I think a little bit stronger than 10 knots 040, probably closer sort of 12 to 14, looking at other models of that, but generally 040, 050 over most of the southern part of the UK today. SatPic shows that sort of stubborn, lingering cloud here. It has been clearing quite nicely from the northeast, and that must be getting to us fairly shortly, I would have thought. And we're starting to see the base raise a little bit here. But this is quite thick over us, and it will take a long time to sort of burn off. So I wouldn't expect to see real sort of proper clearance till sort of gone 11:30, I suspect. Temperature-wise, we're starting from a slightly lower base than we were yesterday. This time yesterday we had sort of 18 degrees. At the moment it's sort of stubbornly stuck at 16, but I think eventually it'll get to about 22 degrees. A little bit warmer down on the coast, and the BBC are suggesting the same. 23 degrees perhaps down on the sort of coastal regions. The dew points, now here's the interesting one. A lot of the forecast modelling suggesting that dew points in the centre of the country will drop to, anywhere lower than 8, between 6 and 8. Currently they're about 12s to 13s. I'm not actually expecting them to go down quite so far. And that'll be the factor as to whether we get cumulus today, to be honest, because a lot of the forecast modelling is for no Q in the centre of the country. Soundings, this is over us by sort of midday towards 1 o'clock, and it's still showing sort of overcast, probably about 3,000 feet, breaking up, I suspect. And by mid-afternoon, towards later afternoon, it's gone up. And plugging in the numbers into this with dew points around about 11, maybe down to 10, we're sort of getting cloud base probably about 4,000 feet, maybe a little bit higher than that. Cloud tops about 5.5. Looked at the actual Lark Hill ascent, and it's quite sort of moist still, up to about 6,000 feet. So there's certainly some moisture in here to give us cumulus. More cumulus down towards the south coast by the looks of it. And then looking further north and west, the lines start to come apart. I think if you've got dew points at about 9, you're still going to get some cumulus in here. And again, about 4,500 feet above sea level, with 22 degrees. That's providing the temperature gets there. I looked at some of the ascents going northeast in towards East Anglia, and the lines were much further apart, and they seem to be predicting quite low dew points. Scratching my head on that one, not sure if that's correct. I'm going for probably cumulus over most of the task area. Top Meteo, and I know SkySight is differing slightly as well. Top Meteo are showing this cloud breaking up mid-morning. They're showing it sort of here at 10 o'clock, and then by 11 and 12 it breaking up into bits of cumulus. Probably by 1 o'clock we're seeing cumulus over us. I think there's going to be more Q in this area here for most of the day, but again, it's a slightly later start than we initially thought, folks. And into the afternoon, Q on the south coast. They're forecasting it blue here. I'm not convinced of that. I think there'll be more Q in here, and it should be going until sort of gone 5 o'clock, I would have thought. Thermal heights. My gut feeling is it'll not get going till gone 12 o'clock, closer to 1 probably, before it gets to be sensibly launchable. So that's 1 o'clock, 3,000 meters, 1,000 meters plus 3,000 feet, and then getting better by mid to late afternoon. They're showing 14, 15, even 1,600 meters in places. So certainly above 4,000 feet. Today it's going to top out at. So looking like a reasonable day. Top Meteo's predicted distance, I've just put the standard class distance in here. Seem to differ from SkySight, but generally in the 18 meter class distance, Top Meteo are saying anywhere in this area here. So I think we set tasks appropriately. Okay, that's it for the weather. Breezy northeasterly, flying heights. Should be a nice day, hopefully, when this stuff clears from above us. Back to you, Ed, and you'll have to redo the share.
Okay, thank you, Colin. 1 second. Okay, so tasks for today. Task sheets are available to be downloaded or from Rover Control now, and there are also printed ones available in Control U. There's quite a few tasks today, so apologies, but we've got sort of a bit of ambiguity around the weather, so we've tried to give a few different options. So to start off with, the interesting one, task A for the 20 meters, we're looking at an assigned area task. It's the only AAT of today's set of tasks. Going down from Lasham down to Salt Hill Mast on the South Downs, along to Lewis North, and then a sector out from there out into Kent, and then back to Arundel and Butser Hill for a control point, and then Candover Church for a final small control point, and then back into the airfield. It's a 2.5 hour minimum task length. The idea with that is to try and give you the best chance of using the cumulus that should be there on the south coast in potentially the best conditions. We haven't been able to send both tasks down there. It's a very narrow airspace corridor and can be quite tricky. But we are trusting that with the 2-seaters, with the bit of extra crew resource management, you can manage the airspace risks adequately to avoid us doing what happened last time we sent lots of people down here, which was a very high number of airspace busts into Class A airspace. With the northeasterly drift, there is a chance that bits of the South Downs might work as well. So we're hopeful that would be quite an interesting task and give you some options. The AAT sector, the main AAT sector out into Kent, It should be in very uniform cumulus conditions. So we think this is an appropriate task set for the day. The task B, a more conventional racing task, round Oxfordshire, Basingstoke, Devizes, Oxford, Lynham, and back to Lasham, hopefully making use of some streeting to get the best out of it. And then the C task, if the weather doesn't perk up as quickly as we'd hoped, closer to minimum distance, in a similar area, Pewsey, Wantage, and Cliff Papyard. And then for the 18 meters, these are all racing tasks at 300 in the sort of same area as the 20 meters B task. So Melksham, Oxford, Brinkworth, and back to Lasham. The B task going a bit more up into the Cotswolds, where again the weather should be quite good. Badminton, Birdlip, Andover. And then finally, if we have to fall back, a slightly odd-shaped task with a lot of turn points, but this is trying to keep you, if the weather isn't as good to the north and we don't have as much time, this will send you basically down to the South Downs, to Salt Hill, Marston, along a little bit, back up towards Lasham, and then back down to where you were flying yesterday, sort of to the south of the Middle Wallop area, to Montfort Station and Salisbury, and back via Mitcheldever. So we're trying to set you things that give us some options depending on what happens with the weather. Over to Colin Rule for the airspace.
Thank you. I'm using Ed's computer today. Mine doesn't want to play games, but there we are. Okay, it's going to be a bit more protracted, I'm afraid. I said I'd try and keep these short, but I failed today. Anyway, Popham is now back to its normal status. It's now open, happy to accept landouts if need be. If you end up going down towards Salisbury, Para Old Sarum is an active penalty zone. As usual, Odium ATZ is a penalty zone. The Compton box is closed. If we go up to the north towards the Bryce area, Fairford and Mats has been promulgated as being active by NOTAM, and it's they're talking about heavy military traffic in that area. Maybe something to do with something that's happening well to the east of us. Parasouth Thurney, which again will be active, which again will be relevant if you are on one of the 18-meter tasks, is not active and is not a penalty zone. We've been able to confirm that there's no jumping activity there. Same airspace file as yesterday and the day before. Farnborough TMZ, just a reminder here, it's not available to competitors, even if you are blessed with a transponder. Task sheets will list relevant contact frequencies. Because of the diversity of tasks we've got today, it's very difficult to put them all up on the slides, but the task you're flying will show the relevant contact frequencies on the task sheets. Now, I've got a number of slides here, and I crave your indulgence on this while we just go through them so that I can point out some of the issues which, from an airspace point of view, I see. So, starting with the 20-meter task A, which is the AAT. I can't put the AAT sectors in. Whoops. There we go. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. It's proximity here. I hope you can see my mouse pointer. This bit of airspace here is 3,000 feet. This bit here is 4.5. Down here, it starts to get a little more interesting. But the main point I wanted to make is here, where you've got this bit of the London TMA, which dives south. That's the boundary of the 2,500 feet. Luckily, the wind is tending to drift you away from it, which is good. But that's where, as Ed alluded to in the past, we have had issues with airspace bus. So just be aware of it. These are the two-seaters. The two of you use your cockpit resource management. I couldn't draw the sector on here, but it runs out here. And if you look in this area, that is an active danger area in a penalty zone. If you really are intending to get your feet wet, it's not on your airspace file because it doesn't cover that far, but there are active danger areas in the channel up to 1,500 feet where they're flying drones for surveillance issues. That's that on your return legs, be aware of Shoreham ATZ, Goodwood ATZ. Direct tracks obviously route you clear as they're required to, but your tracks will be random. And talk to them if you're near them and you've got the ability to do so. So we'll move on to, this is the 20-meter B task. Quite close to the one of the Salisbury Plain danger areas there. It's not extended any higher than its normal 1400 feet. Today it's not notamed any higher than that. And other than that, you're getting close again towards Bryce, and that shows the Fairford mats, the limits of it. I know we don't apply it as a limit, but I'm just saying there will be heavy traffic in that area. So nothing more on that task. Moving to the 18 meters, this is the A task on the 18 meter. And again, much of my previous remarks apply. You are close to bits of airspace which are critical. Someone's mentioned that there, that little, it's some hang gliders. They've just done what we do, put out a NOTAM. So it shows up on Sky Demon and is there, but it's just eyes open. Keeble, someone's asked a question on. It's still a scheduled parachute site, but the temporary RAT that we had there in the last competition does not exist anymore, but that we haven't been able to confirm that it is inactive, but we are not scoring it as a penalty zone. That again is hang gliders again around the Downs. Nothing much more on that. We'll move on. The task B, which is slightly different area, up via Badminton. You're going through the area of Aston Down, where of course, as you know, the juniors are flying. That's a hazard in itself, isn't it, really? Up to Birdlip, and then back via South Cerney. We've been able to confirm that South Cerney is inactive, therefore it will not be a penalty zone. And again, fairly close to the Fairford mats with its high activity. More than that, nothing more to say on that, I don't think. The task C, which Ed spoke about earlier, it looks horrible. We had a subtext on this one when we were thinking about it, and I won't repeat what it was, but it meant we didn't like it. But we were forced into it. So what can we say? Be careful. A lot of airspace, relevant ATZs, Middle Wallop obviously, and Old Sarum parachute drop zone is a penalty zone. So be very careful of that. Down here, it's just really airspace issues to look at and be very much aware of. You will, if the 18 meters are on this and the 20 meters are on their A task, you're all coming back in from the same direction, but the 20 meters will be turning CAC. So again, you will have your eyes out of the cockpit, I know, at that point, but there could be a lot of people all coming back at the same time. I don't think I have anything else. Any questions via the chat function, of course. And airfield frequencies, start line 129890, finish line 131030, and the tugs will be on 131030. Again, because there are other contests running, and it's surprising how far radio waves go when you don't want them to. Please prefix all the calls with Basham. Thank you. Back to Ed.
Thank you very much, Colin. Okay, so we've talked about the airfield layout. Just a reminder, please keep your trailers a decent distance away from the water bowser to the south of it, ideally. To give plenty of room in the landing area in case, particularly today, if anyone finds they're not going to make the finish ring, if they're coming back from either of those two southern tasks, they could consider landing on 05. There we go. Up this way. So if we keep all the trailers and things and glider paraphernalia well away from there, it gives people an option if they're not going to quite make the finish and be able to come around for a circuit into the normal landing direction. We're set up on the grid on 09 today, relights to the south as briefed before. Hopefully most of your gliders are out there now. Again, as I said, just keep the paraphernalia away from this area in case we need to use it for landings. Today we're expecting on all the tasks, once they've got around the finish ring, most of the tasks bring you back from a control point or from the west anyway, and it's just going to be a straight in approach as briefed in the Annex C of the rules. If you have too much energy on your straight in approach and need to go round, then aim to overfly here and then back and land on the sort of southernish mode grass runway, going in the opposite direction if you really have to. But I'd recommend today straight in approaches where you can. Club operations are up there, operating from the north side as per the yesterday, and please don't leave your gliders on the north side grass. Finishing, please call 10K, and then as you cross the line on 131030, which the tugs will be on as well, so we can deconflict if needed. Land long where you can. Thanks very much yesterday. Almost everyone did it exactly right and landed long, left plenty of space. I didn't see any particular issues, and we visually monitored all the finishes and didn't identify any particular issues on the flight safety side. And then scoring, please remember to submit your traces within an hour of landing. Questions, Michael, have we got any questions?
We haven't had any questions so far.
No questions so far. I'll give you a second or two to think about questions. First launch, not before 11:30, and looking out the window might be a little bit later because it's not quite developing as fast as we'd hoped. Last launch, 1800 today. And next briefing expected to be 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's it from me, unless there's any final questions. No, okay. Well, thank you very much. We will see you out on the grid later. Thank you.